With respect to hCG and fertility, is there anything else I need to add?
Yes, as a caveat, I'd like to say that, like, again, I'm not an MD, so I'm not telling you to do this. But hCG, when added to a protocol, will sustain that intratesticular testosterone level so that the Sertoli cells can produce sperm. But it's not always sufficient, meaning it's not always enough to keep a highest level possible that you would have if you weren't also inhibited by testosterone. I know this is confusing, but just know that you probably will need another drug. And it just starts to sound crazy. Don't worry about the drugs. These are peptides that have very minimal to zero toxicity in the body. It's not like you're taking a bunch of painkillers. And you're putting back the signal that the testosterone from the brain down is shutting off, which was already off to a large extent, which is why you were deficient in the first place and needed testosterone. So that's an important thing to understand. Like, you're not just taking all these drugs like a crazy man. You're putting things back that weren't there enough in the right balance with modern science. So in the case of fertility, hCG will sustain your testosterone in your testes enough to produce enough sperm if the Sertoli cell, though, was also getting the signal. The loaded part of the question is that there's a signal that goes to the Sertoli cell that also gets shut off that is not sufficient when sperm count is low, and that's related to something called FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone. FSH is mimicked by the pharmaceutical drug HMG, not hCG, HMG, human menopausal gonadotropin. HMG is a mixture of what stimulates testosterone, something called luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. The summary, HMG is essentially FSH. You need HMG to stimulate FSH from the Sertoli cell, to stimulate the Sertoli cell to produce sperm in order to have enough of a sperm count to be high enough for fertility. You can just